Hello there, welcome to Manifest Without Money. I'm Luminita. I want to talk to you today about love, self-love. It has been so misunderstood. I never understood it, and it took me many years to unravel myself. That means to let go of every preconceived idea about what I thought self-love was. So what did I think about self-love and why self-love is important? What love in general is important when it comes to your creation and manifestation process. In the process of creating, when you attach the emotion of love, you speed up your manifestation. You just speed it up so fast, so fast. I mean, so fast according to the dot, the number, the date, the hour, okay? That's what love does for you. So I'm going to share with you manifestation at the end and how that happened exactly to the exact hour that I wanted something to happen in my life. But my preconceived idea about self-love was control. And at the time when I was married and my children were still young, they were in middle or grammar school, as a mother, I assumed the responsibility of benefiting everyone. My husband at the time, my children. And what I thought was love was to wake up early, cook for them, take them to school, take them to practice, bring them home, take them to kindergarten, bring them back home. What's the best program they could be in? What's the best book they could read? What's the best thing that they could do with their time? It was control. It was control. My husband shouldn't eat the sugar. He should not go to bed this late. He shouldn't do this. It was control. I had illusions about what love was. I thought, well, if I know something good, I'm going to give it to you. And if you're not listening, I'm going to take more control. Like, why is it that you're not listening? So I was trying to reason with them on the outside, meaning it was a lot of battle. It was a lot of struggle. And I could not understand. It's like, I would say, well, but I love you. Don't you get it? I'm doing this for you. I want you to eat kale instead of eating donuts. Okay. I could never get anybody to get on my side, to see what I saw, to understand what I was understanding. But was I understanding anything? I didn't. I was the best chef. I was the best entertainer. I would have friends and family, and I would expect them to say, oh my God, this is so amazing. And they would. But the moment they left my home, those thoughts left with them. You know, that good feeling that they gave me, it was temporary. And I was left back to my own devices, alone, in the sense that that feeling was gone, and I became dependent on the outside. Dependent on my husband. Well, if I'm doing this for him, he should love me more. He should appreciate me more. So I thought in the giving and the doing of things, I was loving myself and I was loving them. What I came to understand was that this was a misconception about love. We assume in the doing of or given to someone else, we're loving them. Such a wrong misconception. The law says love others as you love yourself. And when this question was put in front of me, do you love yourself, Luminita? I felt vibrations going through my body. I was searching like a desperate person through my heart for the meaning and understanding of love. I couldn't find it. I just could not find it. All I could say is, but look at what I'm doing. Look at what I'm giving. Of course I love myself, because when I love my family and I want what's good for them, I'm going to be at peace. So I assumed peace to be equated with love. But was I in peace? I wasn't. And so this misconception or this love thing was, I couldn't understand it. It's like, I'm not in peace. I'm doing so much, but I'm still not in peace. I still don't have more. And you're asking me if I love myself. I'm like, oh, like, what is happening? We have the habitual thinking, and we have been misinformed with these mirages and illusions that the more you give and the more you do, the more others are going to give and do for you. Because if you think about, okay, when was the last time you felt loved? You're going to say, well, things worked out for me. I felt good. Well, why do you feel good? Because things worked out for your good. You say, oh, my dream came true. My desire came true. I feel so good. This person really loves me, or this turned out in my favor. and you feel love, you just feel so good that something that you've wanted, it turned out to be going your way. Well, if that's love, if that's how you feel love, how often throughout our days and months and years do we feel that? Do we think that way? Meaning, do we manifest things that are working for us or against us? If you can't recollect the last time you said, oh, I feel so good, this is working for me, this has worked out for me. If you don't recollect the last time, or it's just here and there, in between, sporadically, let's look at why is it that we're not manifesting. First of all, manifesting. Second of all, as often as we want. Third of all, exactly to the date and hour as we want to. You see, love has that power to help you manifest exactly the time, date, and hour too. You can be that specific. So the missing ingredient when it comes to the law of attraction, I believe one of them, or the most potent and important, is love, self-love. Because ultimately, when we manifest, we want things to work for our good. But what's that good? Meaning, you're loving you. Right? That's the missing ingredient, self-love. In manifestation or creation manifestation, the self-love is missing. And so even through our imagining, we're controlling the other person. You can't control the other person. Even through our imaginal acts, we control the other person, and that's why we don't manifest. So now I want to show you what self-love looks like. Self-love looks like this. Let's say you're struggling something and someone. They're telling you something that you don't want to hear. They're doing something you don't want them to do. Meaning it's not working for your good, period. It's not working out for me, you say. This is not working out for me. It's not making me feel good. Well, feeling starts with a thought. You have a choice to listen to the voice of strangers or your own voice. What does that mean? You listen to what they said, did or did not say or do, or you listen to your heart, your desire. That's your only voice that you must listen to. You listen to the voice of your desire, not the voices of strangers. Your bank account is a stranger, your SP is a stranger, your boss is a stranger. They're not your friends yet. You have to make them your friends. Your friends love you, should love you, but they're not going to love you until you love yourself, because love others as you love yourself. First you love yourself so others can love you. Remember, they're mirroring back. You shift them or create them in the image and likeness or nature of you. So now you must ask yourself, okay, what are the images that I hold in my mind about me? Meaning, am I thinking of this problem, the worst case scenario, which eventually will work against me, or the best case scenario? We have a tendency to think of the worst case scenarios. In that moment, you are caught and you're communicating with the voice of strangers. You're picking up what they said and you're going on that trailblaze and you talk even more and you create worst case scenarios. You can cut it right short and you say, wait a minute, I'm not loving myself. Then you say, well, what would love look like? What would love give to me? Right? What would you give yourself out of this situation? What would you like to see come out of this situation? What would you like to see in your bank account instead? What would you like to see your SP do and say and hear from him? So then you use love towards you. Now everything comes back to you. No more pointing fingers. It's all about me. The good, the bad, and indifferent. I create it all. I kill and destroy. I make a love and I kill. I do it all with love. When I don't get what I want, when I don't manifest what I want, it's because I've destroyed me. I took life away from me and I gave life to the worst case scenario. Am I giving life to the best case scenario? Am I using faith or fear? So when you love yourself, you must think of the best case scenario. To think of the best case scenario, obviously, you would ask yourself the question, because you cannot receive a best case scenario until you ask. You have not because you ask not. So ask yourself, what would I like out of this situation? Out of this distance, out of this gap, out of this hot and cold, out of this bank account, out of my boss, out of my client. You know, I have a program for business owners, online entrepreneurs and offline entrepreneurs. So we have the program in there as well. What would I like out of my client? What would I like to receive from them? Or what would I like the best outcome to be? You might say, but isn't that selfish? Not so, because the way when you love yourself, you love others. Ultimately, this law says they are going to feel love. they're going to benefit as well. That's what the law says. Love others as you love yourself. When you love yourself, you love in others. When you think of you, you love in others. So let's say the situation is not working out for you. Now I'm going to take you into my manifestation. And I had an event a couple of months ago in Chicago. The event was on Sunday. I made up my mind I was going to leave on Saturday at 3 a.m. so I can be there because I was driving. I wanted to take the long route. Instead of flying, and I said, okay, I want to be there. I will be there sometime for, Saturday afternoon. But the past 2 weeks, I've been working with a company online to set up for me 2 banners for my event. I kept changing my design. It got so close, about 4 or 5 days before my travel date, Saturday, and I began to feel stressed, reacting. On Wednesday, usually they say it takes 2-day delivery, so this was on a Wednesday. And I thought, well, okay, the package should be here on Friday. What they said was, it will be there Saturday. I began to calculate and reason, use the tool of mind and reason, and I said, okay, well, if it's there on Saturday, I'll be gone. I will not have the banners. That's not going to look good. It sounds to me like this is working against me. This is the worst case scenario. They have painted for me through their answer. They've allowed me to think of the worst case scenario. They've put me in a position to think against myself. Or I would say they were thinking against me, against my desire. So I had to design or create according to my desire or design. I had to design life according to what I wanted. So I asked myself, well, what would I like? I said, well, Friday. It would be good if it was here Friday. This was all done in the mind. It would be good if they would be here on Friday. I said, well, what's the latest that a UPS would come? Well, even if it's late at 5 o'clock, I said, maybe between 4 and 5. That would be good. Even in the latest hour, I said, even in the latest hour, right between 4 and 5 o'clock, because I assumed the UPS would work that late. Even then, I would like to have my package. That's it. Dropped it, forgot about it, moved on, did other things. On Friday, it was a little bit before 4 o'clock. I was talking to my daughters. I'm sitting on the bed, and all of a sudden, at 4:05, I had this thought. Oh, yeah, go and check on those banners. I went and checked on the banners. What I came to see was this long list of where my package was, where it went, who took it, where it took it, the street, the name, the truck name, the city, the hour, and all of that. It got to the bottom and it said, your banners are in the back of such and such truck and it will be here at 4:35. My mind, again, like a computer, I began to look back at everything that I've created on Wednesday. No. It's 4:05. It's going to be here at 4:35. It's exactly as I said it, between 4 and 5 o'clock. I said even in the latest hour, between 4 and 5 o'clock. I couldn't believe it. Your package will arrive at 4:35. It's 4:20. I look out the window from my desk and there's a truck taking out these 2 long boxes, drops them by my house, and I couldn't believe it. Right? I could not believe it. The reason I could not believe it is because I'm going to tell you the feeling that I had all throughout this time. First of all, I did not react. You cannot create when you react. You cannot create or manifest or design or become the best version of you if you are reacting or controlling. I couldn't control them. I could have picked up the phone and holler and be like, no, you got to do it and you got to have it here by Friday. I could not control what they were saying. You cannot control what your bank account says. You cannot control what your spouse says. You cannot control what your boss says or your client. You can't control it on the outside, but you can control it on the inside. You design it on the inside. So because I took control of me, not of out there, when I took control of me and I asked myself, what would I like? Well, I would like it to be here on Friday by such and such time. Yeah, that would be good. I reasoned within myself, communed within myself, and I made the decision. My mind was made up. Decision, I made it. I said, yeah, even if it's late before 5 o'clock on Friday, Between 4 and 5, I said it would be good. Well, that's it. That's all I've done. In that process, I loved myself. I've given myself what I've wanted. The reality had to conform exactly to the time. Why? Because I loved myself. When you love yourself, you only think about what's the best outcome that I want. Now, you might say, okay, but love others as you love yourself. How do you know those people benefited in some form or shape? I don't know how they benefited. But in the law itself, it says that when I love myself, automatically I love others. So they must have benefited somehow. So now going back to my family, when I love myself and I think of the best outcome scenario between me and my child, between me and my spouse, between me and my SP, between me and my so and such, they're benefiting as well. So do you want to benefit? Do you want to love yourself? Because you cannot create without using self-love. You cannot create without love. It's impossible. If you create without love, if you create without self-love, you are controlling, even in your imagination, you're controlling the other person. A lot of people set out intentions and affirmations from a place of control. Still from a place of control, not love. Meaning they're not asking themselves, what's the best outcome? And begin to envision that best outcome, right? And in the process of envisioning, you must see how you feel. Do you still want your SP? Do you still feel like you want them? Because if you don't, that means you've got negative thoughts about them, right? And that's when we go into step 3 in the program, where I show you how to let go and release. You're either going to feel the relief or you're going to hit the terror barrier. And what do you do in those instances? So you can manifest anything you want as long as you attach love, self-love. There's no other kind of love. There's only one love. Love thy God with all your mind, heart, body, and soul. That means love yourself more than anybody else, because nobody else actually exists. You animate them. You're the operant power. So I made this video, but it seems that it's very long. I hope you're listening to the end. I hope it's benefiting you. And I hope it's helping you now to change your mind, your perspective when it comes to the creation manifestation process. If you liked the video, if you understood what I have said, I want you to listen to it again and meditate upon what I just said. In all I get and get understanding. And again, I talk in a religious way, but I am not religious. I am a spiritual scientist. So I study quantum physics. I studied the laws of the universe, science, and theology. But I come from a background of theology. So if you hear me talk more of one or the other, it's because of that. But it only emphasizes to you the laws, because those are laws of mind. Okay, in theology you find the laws of mind, so I must bring them out to you. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I have a lot of gratitude towards you, and think only of the best outcome scenarios. Okay? Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye now.